this Stan Twitter has been lit the fuck up. Like every Camila Cabello Stan account has been like up my ass, like losing their fucking minds over it. Okay. And guys, stop spamming Fs. Okay. I know there's no effing right now. Please stop. This after my commentary on this, a lot of people have been going crazy over it. This one only has like 700 likes, but I just chose to respond to this one. I can't with the majority of angry quotes being white men yelling at an immigrant Cuban woman who is speaking her truth from lived experience, incel core, to which I responded with, we are leaving this shit behind. Okay, with Woke 1.0, you cannot do standpoint epistemology to defend the U.S. State Department's 67 years of cruelty to Cuba. Obama eased the sanctions. The Dems should at the very least demand that. The entire rest of the planet is demanding it, like Cuba have oil. Because it's true. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane that these guys are going, white man talking about an immigrant Cuban woman. I don't care. No one cares, okay? Is it the truth or is it not the truth? Can we just have a fucking normal conversation about things without you just trying to slam identity politics into it? Marco Rubio is also an immigrant Cuban man. Like, if you understand that, like, when Marco Rubio says the exact same thing that fucking Camila Cabello is saying, and how stupid that fucking argument is, then you should be able to comprehend that it's dumb when you do it as a defensive posture towards what Camila Cabello is saying. Because there is no daylight between what she's saying and what fucking Marco Rubio is saying. My mistake, dude. I didn't realize that, like, the Cubans living in fucking Cuba that don't want to be starved have no, like, they have no say in this process. Only listen to the Miami Cubans. Like, god damn. Be on the opposite side of Marco Rubio, that's usually a good sign. I know. What did Camila Cabello say about Cuba? I already covered it on my my YouTube as well, but basically she came out and was like, there's so much going on here at home, and so much I can say about the heartbreaking things about the immigrant community. And, like, I mean, she has, like, a shady past in terms of, like, being an out and about racist to, I think, one of these other singers that she also collabed with back in the day. I don't know the whole drama or the tea, but a lot of people were, like, cooking her ass for that. And then she had to go through, like, racial sensitivity training or something all the way back at peak woke. But yeah, apparently she used to be like a turbo racist and would say the N-word with a hard R all the time on fucking Tumblr. And Normani was very upset about that, understandably. But yeah, she was slamming that shit. Anyway, look. I think all that stuff is indicative of your character, but I will be honest with you, what she's doing here is pound for pound infinitely more consequential. At the peak, at the absolute fucking peak of American cruelty in Cuba, after 67 years of, like, starvation initiatives, destabilization initiatives, trying to fucking invade the island, numerous instances where they tried to assassinate the leadership over and over again, all of a sudden America has basically decided, we're actually not even letting you get any oil from any other regional partners at all. Fuck you. And the island's on, like, the brink of collapse. People are suffering, right? And this person comes out and says, I'm a Cuban woman, and I think the real reason why the island is suffering is not because of the Trump administration's actions, not because of the previous administration's actions in general, but actually because of communism and because of the regime. Well, you're a fucking asshole, okay? You're an asshole. So I blew up on it. I said, this is gross, right? And then obviously it drove the news cycle yesterday on Twitter because everyone fucking has no capacity to think, right? There's so much going on here at home and so much I can say about the heartbreaking things the immigrant community is experiencing here in the U.S. I also feel a personal responsibility to speak about what's happening in Cuba. I still have family on the island that we speak to and send medicine and food and clothes to. Yeah, I wonder why you have to send medicine to the island directly. You think the fucking Cuban government is like, ooh, I love hiding the medication from my population. I love hiding food from my population. She didn't directly say communism, but I guess no, she's saying it's a failing dictatorship and an oppressive regime. It's fucking ridiculous, okay? Either she's a useful idiot or directly a reactionary. And at this point, it doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. You can't be a useful idiot to the Trump administration when the Trump administration is like deporting Cubans too. Like, it's so dumb. Venezuelans did this already, and look what they got, okay? At the end of the day, what happened? Venezuelans living in America were like, yeah, hell yeah, go fucking kill Maduro. It's awesome. And what happened? Nothing. Okay, nothing. Now Delcy Rodriguez runs the country. It's still the country is still run by Chavistas, even though they're more pliant to the Trump administration because they have to be. Otherwise, Trump will come and kill them. Okay. It's so stupid. People are so dumb. I don't know how they fucking delude themselves over and over again to this false notion that America is going to save them. America has never saved these people. America does not care about liberation for the people. Anyway, the Cuban people are suffering in an echo chamber where no one can hear them because to speak is to risk your life. Many people are starving, looking for food in trash heaps. The only way to survive is having relatives ship you boxes of medicine because not even the hospitals have medicine. Like, attributing that not to this endless, unlimited embargo that the entire world knows is cruel and unjustifiable and demands an end to, but instead to the regime, the dictatorial regime is so fucking stupid. Twitter was on your ass. They can suck my ass, okay? What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. You can cry all fucking day, okay? Fuck you. You are cruel, you are ruthless, or you're a fucking idiot. It's one of the other. Either you are a pure reactionary monster who does not give a fuck about the Cuban population starving or the Cuban Cuban economy collapsing deliberately by design because of American interests, or you're an absolute moron who doesn't realize that America is doing it and you just heard someone else dupe you. You heard someone else go, no, it's actually fucking communism. Isn't that scary? And you were like, oh, that makes sense to me. Shut the fuck up. You can yell at me all day, every day. I'll fucking tank it, okay? It's so ridiculous. Like, doing it especially now after like 2.5 years of American genocide, Amer-Israeli genocide in Gaza, and Trump very clearly moving this country like in the direction of full tilt fascism, and you're still like, well, these fascists actually still have some kind of like democratic goal in liberating the Cuban population. You're a fucking idiot. You're an idiot. You're the dumbest person on the planet. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck about your standpoint epistemology, okay? You don't know anything about Cuban history. You don't know anything about politics. You don't know anything about American politics, American foreign policy at all. You've never thought about it. You've never thought about it at all. You're just a sucker. You're doing propaganda for the American government and American imperialism for free 99, okay? Anyway, the power is gone for so long that food spoils and water becomes scarce. When people have peacefully protested, they've disappeared or been put behind bars, some as young as 13 years old. This is a reality where a post online costs you your life. The Cuban people have lived without dignity and without hope for too long. It's no wonder so many Cubans have thrown themselves in the shark-infested waters, making boats out of tires and sticks and risking their lives for freedom. Yeah, I wonder why. Okay? We know why. We know the answer to it, okay? The real reason why Cubans are looking for a better future is not because of like this despotic regime or whatever. It's because America is quite literally trying to collapse the Cuban government and the Cuban economy, and they've been doing it for 67 fucking years. It is, and I've said this so many times, it is remarkable that they have been able to thrive in spite of that, okay? You put your foot on my neck for 50 years and now, yeah, exactly. You put your foot on my neck for 50 years and now you criticize the way I breathe. Doesn't the embargo apply to oil? How does that apply to medicine and food, or is that a new one? No, there are limitations on what you can send to Cuba regardless. Like making mass shipments and shit is not allowed. Like doing trade with Cuba is not allowed. America lies about the way in which they implement this embargo. Like, if you have any ship that goes and stops and docks at a fucking Cuban port, they can't dock at an American port for 180 days or even longer than that sometimes. Like, so that is a decision that companies need to make at that point. Like, if you're a part of logistics, if you're doing international shipping, you're like, okay, well, I'm not going to fucking ship anything to Cuba because I still need to go to the largest consumption engine on the fucking planet. Doing that to a tiny island nation, slammed to the fucking ass cheeks of American empire, is crazy. Okay? Anyway, Cuba, tiny nation. Yeah, maybe they'll understand it that way. Okay. The Bolivarian Revolution. The Bolivarian Revolution and its spirit was promised to the Cuban population 3,000 years ago. Okay. Simón Bolívar lives on. All right. They are now in the midst of profound humanitarian crisis. If you want to help and don't know how, check the link in my story to support Caritas Cuba and their work. If you're able to give, any donation makes a difference. And then I didn't even look into the Caritas Cuba Corporation, but I suspect it's the Catholic. Okay, yeah, it's the Catholic Church's group, which, of course, I'm not going to say anything. But it's not a scam necessarily, but look, if you want to send aid to Cuba, there are some groups that work directly with the American government that are there as a destabilizing factor, but because Cuba is so desperate for aid, they let it happen, okay? It's not a scam. It's not a scam at all. It's not a scam. But the United States government allows that aid to go in, and there's probably some very wonderful people that work there that are like oblivious to what the other goals are here, right? Like it's kind of like USAID, okay? Not everyone that works for USAID is like, oh, I can't wait to fucking destabilize Somalia by pumping agricultural output from the United States of America into their market so we can destabilize their domestic agribusiness. Like, that's not. Some people are just like, well, these people are starving. We should give them fucking rice. Okay. So I just understand. Not everyone, not everyone. Caritas is a pretty controversial organization in Poland. If you can, I try to help directly through other means. Yeah. I mean, the very fact that she posted that one after this, to me, says it all. Okay. But like, even with our flotilla mission, right? We have to get OFAC clearance. Like, we have to work with the Treasury Department, right? So it doesn't matter. There is no sending aid to Cuba. There's no way to there's no way to secretly send barrels of oil, for example. So everyone that is trying to send aid to Cuba in some way, shape, or form is still going through that sort of clearance. There's still a protocol that you must follow. By the way, SOS Cuba is the shit that Miami Gusano ghouls like Carlos Jimenez have been using when talking about doing regime change there. I know. It's like a fucking base boosted bullshit. SOS Cuba, free Cuba nonsense. So, just send flotillas from Yucatan, Mexico. Oh, shit, dude. Why not send aid from Mexico? Oh, brother. Bruh. Why didn't I think of that, bro? Damn, dude. You fucking cracked the code, big dog. Thank you for helping with the logistical operation here. We had not considered that. We weren't doing that already. Thank you so much, dude. Hey, give a round of applause to this guy. You, Chatter, one hot donut. You are one brilliant donut. Okay, you better change that goddamn name. Congratulations, Chatter. Congratulations. The organizations that we're working with were fucking oblivious. I'm fucking with you, by the way. Of course we're sending fucking aid from Mexico too, dumbass. What the fuck's wrong with you? Anyway. How are we going to talk about the fact that we're living through a major historical event? Yeah, I'm going to talk about it in a second. But like, my point was, this is like, Camila Cabello is doing exactly what, I'm a Venezuelan living in the United States of America, and I believe we must bomb Caracas. She's doing the exact same thing that, people in Iraq were saying, people in Libya were saying. There it is. Like, Alex Jordan from Quincy Institute says, standpoint epistemology is arguably one of the most dangerous and effective weapons in liberal interventionist toolkit. Chalabi in Iraq, Jibril in Libya, Machado in Venezuela. There's always a local voice that Washington point to and say their country yearns for freedom. And that's what it is. So don't listen to that shit, okay? Do not fucking listen to that shit. It's complete and utter nonsense.